I just spent the last 3 hours doing something most people won't do. I watched NASA's entire 3i Atlas press conference. Then I read the technical papers they referenced. Then I cross-checked their claims against independent observations. Then I read Avi Loeb's response that he published literally 1 hour after the stream ended. And I need to show you something. Because what NASA said in that press conference and what their own data actually shows are two very different things. This isn't about aliens, this isn't about conspiracy theories. This is about a government space agency making claims that their own published data contradicts. And I'm going to prove it to you right now. What actually happened? Let's establish the facts, just the facts. July 1st, 2025, 3i Atlas is discovered by the Atlas Telescope Network in Chile. It's immediately identified as interstellar based on its hyperbolic trajectory, meaning it's moving too fast to be gravitationally bound to our sun. July through September, multiple observations track it. Hubble captures images, JWST does spectroscopy. Everything looks weird. It's brightening faster than models predict. The color is wrong, but observations continue. October 1st, US government shutdown begins. NASA goes dark, no public communications. October 2nd through 3rd, 3i Atlas passes within 18 million miles of Mars. Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter's HiRISE camera, which has a resolution 3 times better than Hubble, captures images. October 29th, 3i Atlas reaches perihelion, its closest point to the sun. This is when comets are most active. Europa Clipper, which is on its way to Jupiter, flies through the comet's ion tail, the first time a spacecraft has ever directly sampled interstellar material. October-November, amateur astronomers using backyard telescopes detect multiple jets, eventually counting 7 simultaneous outgassing events. This is documented across multiple independent observations. November 12th, government shutdown ends. November 19th, today, NASA holds press conference to release images. 40 days after the HiRISE images were captured, 40 days of silence. And here's what they showed us. What NASA claims versus what the data shows. NASA brought out the big guns for this press conference. Associate Administrator Ahmed Katria, Nikki Fox from Science Mission Directory, Tom Statler as lead scientist. They showed images from 8 different missions. They said repeatedly, it looks and behaves like a comet. But let's look at what their own data actually says. Claim number 1, the brightening is consistent with cometary behavior. Their own presented data shows 3i Atlas brightened proportionally to the inverse of heliocentric distance to the 7.5 power. Normal comets, about 4.0 power. This thing brightened at nearly twice the rate. When asked about this, Tom Statler said it was interesting, but within the range of natural variation. Except it's not. It's literally double the normal rate. That's not variation. That's a fundamental difference. Claim number 2, the jets are normal cometary outgassing. The images they showed from MAVEN and other spacecraft clearly show multiple distinct jets. When pressed on the number of jets, NASA said we observed several outgassing events as expected near perihelion. Several is the word they used. Not 7, not simultaneous, just several. But independent astronomers have documented 7 distinct jets, all active at the same time, firing in different directions. Why is NASA being vague about the number? Because 7 simultaneous jets is unprecedented. It suggests either an incredibly complex internal structure with multiple volatile pockets, or something we don't understand. NASA chose to downplay it rather than address it. Claim number 3, we have no evidence of fragmentation or structural anomalies. This is where it gets really interesting. NASA said the comet appears intact, no signs of breakup, just normal cometary activity. But their own HiRISE image, which they finally released today, shows something they didn't really explain. The image is smeared due to spacecraft jitter, their words. But even in the smeared image, you can see an asymmetric brightness distribution. The coma isn't centered on the nucleus the way it should be if this were simple sublimation. Avi Loeb pointed this out within an hour of the press conference ending. He wrote, "The real story lies in the data associated with the comet's jets. Multiple jets are firing in different directions, and the scientific community still lacks a high-resolution telescope image capable of settling the deeper questions." Translation, the images NASA released don't actually resolve anything. They're blurry to confirm or deny the anomalies. The Europa Clipper silence. Now here's the part that bothers me most. During the Q&A, a reporter asked directly, did Europa Clipper's instruments detect anything unusual when it flew through the ion tail on October 29th? NASA's response? Europa Clipper's primary mission is focused on Jupiter and Europa. Any data from 3I Atlas's encounter is incidental and will be processed as resources allow. As resources allow? Let me tell you what Europa Clipper has on board. PIMS, plasma instrument for magnetic sounding, measures charged particles. MISA, mapping imaging spectrometer for Europa. Analyzes composition. MAG, magnetometer, detects magnetic fields. SETA, surface dust analyzer, samples particles. This spacecraft has every instrument you would need to analyze the composition and properties of an ion tail. And it flew through an interstellar ion tail, the first time this has ever happened. That's not incidental. That's a once-in-a-lifetime scientific opportunity. New horizons at Pluto, data within days. Juno at Jupiter, images within hours. Europa Clipper through an interstellar ion tail? We'll get to it when we have resources. Does that sound right to you? The telescope coincidence. Let me show you something else that doesn't add up. During October, specifically during perihelion, when 3I Atlas was at its most active, here's what happened to Earth's most powerful telescopes. Hubble Space Telescope entered safe mode on October 12th due to gyroscope anomaly, didn't resume full operations until November 8th. JWST scheduled maintenance window throughout most of October, limited observations. Keck Observatory in Hawaii, mirror segment realignment, reduced capacity. Gemini Observatory, operations disrupted by technical issues. Now, maybe this is just bad luck. Maybe all these telescopes just happen to need maintenance at the exact same time an interstellar object was at its most active phase. Or maybe, and hear me out, when 3I Atlas was behind the sun from Earth's perspective, making ground-based observations impossible, NASA made sure the space-based telescopes that could observe it didn't. When asked about this, NASA said it was unfortunate timing compounded by the government shutdown. Unfortunate timing. That's their explanation. Avi Loeb's response. Now, within 1 hour after the stream ended, Avi Loeb published a response on Medium titled, "There's nothing more deceptive than an obvious fact." Now, some of you might be thinking, isn't Avi Loeb the guy who thinks Oumuamua was an alien spacecraft? Isn't he just a sensationalist? Let me give you Loeb's actual credentials. Frank B. Baird, Junior Professor of Science at Harvard, former chair of Harvard's Astronomy Department, 2011 to 2020, published over 1,000 peer-reviewed papers, founding director of Harvard's Black Hole Initiative, former member of the President's Council on Science and Technology. This isn't some random YouTuber making wild claims. This is one of the most accomplished astrophysicists in the world calling out NASA's lack of transparency. Here's what he wrote. I did not expect big news. NASA repeated the official mantra that 3I Atlas is a natural comet and that they were unable to process the data until this week because of the government shutdown. But then he said this, bureaucrats or unimaginative scientists want us to believe in the expected, but the rest of us know that the best is yet to come. He's not saying it's aliens. He's saying NASA is so afraid of being wrong, so committed to protecting their reputation, that they're refusing to acknowledge when the data doesn't fit their models. In a separate interview with Fox 32 Chicago, Loeb said the images were fuzzy and provided no new insight after 40 days of waiting. And you know what? He's right. Look at the images NASA released. They're blurry dots. After 8 missions, months of observations, and billions of dollars, we have blurry dots. What this means for December 19th. Here's where we are. December 19th, 2025, 3I Atlas makes its closest approach to Earth at about 170 million miles. From now until then, ground-based telescopes will have clear line of sight. No more behind-the-sun excuses, no more instrument maintenance, just direct observation. Avi Loeb's Galileo project is watching, amateur astronomers are watching, independent observatories around the world are watching. If 3I Atlas does anything else unusual, more jets, brightness changes, trajectory deviations, we'll know about it. Because unlike NASA, these observers will share their data immediately. And here's the thing. I don't think NASA is covering up an alien spacecraft. I really don't. But I do think they have data showing behavior they can't explain, and they're afraid to admit it publicly. because it would undermine confidence in their models, it would fuel speculation they can't control, it would force them to answer questions they don't have answers to. So instead, they're doing what bureaucracies do: minimize, downplay, and wait for the news cycle to move on. The bottom line:
I'm not here to tell you what 3I Atlas is. I'm here to show you what NASA isn't telling you. They had 40 days to prepare for this press conference, 8 different spacecraft, dozens of scientists. This should have been comprehensive, transparent, and definitive. Instead, we got blurry images, vague statements, and dodged questions. The 7 Yets? Downplayed. The rapid brightening? Dismissed. The Europa Clipper data? Still processing. The telescope maintenance timing? Unfortunate coincidence. Every single anomaly has a convenient excuse. And the most accomplished astrophysicist calling them out gets ignored. Something's not right here, and we have 30 days until December 19th to find out what. I'm going to be covering every development between now and then, every new image, every statement, every piece of data that comes out, because this story deserves better than blurry dots and corporate doublespeak. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and let's hold NASA accountable. I'll see you in the next one.